Do you toss and turn all night? Well, then I have good news for you. You don't have to live with insomnia. Today, I'm showing you how to cure insomnia naturally with no medications. So stay tuned and get ready to have a good night's sleep. Did you know that having a poor night's sleep can impact everything from your energy levels to even your immune system and your mood? But if you have a hard time falling asleep or staying asleep, it can feel like it's something you just have to live with. But that's not true. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how you can treat insomnia naturally through your diet and through lifestyle changes without having to rely on any medications. Are you ready to learn how to do it? Let's go. Step number 1, add tart cherries to your diet. So if you're not sure what tart cherries are, they're a little different than the sweet cherries you find in the summertime. Tart cherries you typically find as a dried fruit or as a juice. But what's great about them is that they're a natural source of melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone our body uses to naturally regulate our sleep cycle. And if you don't get enough of it, or you don't produce enough of it, you have a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep. Research has shown when you add tart cherries to your diet, it can improve both quality and quantity of sleep by as much as 90 minutes. So here's how you do it. Add a 1/4 cup of tart cherries, dried, or 6 ounces of tart cherry juice about 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. And then watch what happens. That little bit of tart cherry to your diet can make a major impact on your overall sleep. Step number 2, eat more magnesium-rich foods. Research has shown that when you don't get enough magnesium in your diet, you have a greater chance of waking up in the middle of the night and having a hard time falling back asleep. Does that sound like you? If it does, then you want to eat foods that are packed full of magnesium. And some choices are things like avocados, nuts and seeds, legumes, whole grains, or dark chocolate. That's the one I like to enjoy. So whatever you do, make sure you get enough magnesium in your diet so you can help fight against that middle of the night insomnia. Step number 3, make sure you get some exposure to sunlight every day, especially in the morning. If you tend to be stuck inside all day and you don't really go out and you don't see the sun, that can be impacting your sleep. You see, exposure to natural light from the sun plays a big role in regulating our circadian rhythms. And when we don't get enough sun exposure, our body can get confused and it has a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep. Research shows that when we get natural sun exposure for at least 10 minutes, and especially if we can get that sun exposure in the morning, it plays a great role in helping us to fall asleep and stay asleep later in the day. Now, sunlight is best, but you do have to be careful. You don't want to get too much sun exposure where you risk the chance of being burned or increasing the risk of skin cancer. And what I want you to remember is with sunlight exposure, it's all about the light. It's not really about those UV rays. So it's fine to go out and put on the sunblock and still get that 10 minutes of exposure. It's still going to benefit your sleep. So use your protection when you go outside. Now, if you can't go outside for 10 minutes in the morning, try to sit in a brightly lit room at least, because that will play a role too. If you're always in dim lighting all day long and you're never getting natural light exposure or bright light exposure, your circadian rhythms start to get thrown off. So make sure you're getting some form of light exposure earlier in the day, but sunlight is going to be best. Step 4, curb your caffeine intake. Now, I know that's so hard to do, especially if you had a poor night's sleep. After a poor night's sleep and your energy's low, of course you want to grab that cup of coffee for a quick jolt. But I want you to be careful. Small amounts of caffeine are fine. Okay, a cup of coffee each day is no problem at all because small amounts of caffeine can make us feel more alert. However, when you have too much caffeine, and the threshold is about 300 milligrams a day, which is about 3 cups of coffee, when we cross over that threshold, it starts to have some negative impacts on our body. One, it can elevate stress hormones. And when stress hormones are elevated, that can make you feel more fatigued. But the biggest problem is what it does in our brain. When we have too much caffeine, it suppresses the release of serotonin. Now, serotonin is that feel-good chemical our brain releases that elevates mood, but it also plays a big role in sleep. If we don't have enough serotonin production, we run the risk of increased insomnia. So you're drinking too much caffeine, you're suppressing serotonin, and that's increasing the risk of more insomnia. You see what happens? It's a vicious circle. So start to scale down on the caffeine gradually over time and make sure to keep your intake under 300 milligrams a day. Number 5 is set yourself up with a sleep schedule. Now, you've probably heard that term, sleep like a baby. Well, here's the thing. If you want to sleep like a baby, you have to treat yourself like a baby. Think about how you put a baby to sleep. Do you play loud music and let the baby run all around and feed the baby a lot of sugar and then stick it in its crib and tell it to go to sleep? What's that baby gonna do? He's not going to sleep. That baby's ready to party, right? Well, what do you do when it's time to go to bed? Do you do what we do for babies? Do you set a relaxing sleep environment, lower the lights, have soft music, get rid of the distractions like the computer and the TV, and drift off to a restful night's sleep? Probably not. If you're like most of us, you're running around trying to get everything checked off your to-do list during the day. You're checking emails last minute. You have the TV on. You're looking at your cell phone. So we have all that electronic blue light stimulating our brain. You're thinking about the stressors of the day and what you still have to do. And then you realize, it's midnight, I better go to sleep. So you shut off the lights, lay down, and then you just lay there and wonder, why can't I fall asleep? Well, it's because you didn't set the stage for sleep. You have to provide your body with a relaxing environment. That involves getting rid of electronics. If you want to read something, read a book. Don't look at your phone or look at a computer screen for at least 10 minutes before bed. Turn down the lights, lower the volume of noises around you, and think about relaxing thoughts, or even practice a few deep breathing exercises. That's going to set the stage for better sleep. And you also want to actually have a schedule. Go to bed the same time every night. Wake up the same time every morning. When you get your body into a routine, it's better able to regulate itself so that it knows what to expect, and you have more quality, restful sleep day after day. So there you have it, 5 simple tricks to help regulate your sleep cycle naturally. No medication required. So I want to hear from you. Did you try these tricks? Did it improve your sleep? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked today's video, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new video. Thanks so much for joining me.